Hey, this is David Harvey here. Don't normally do videos, but just wanted to share with you some of the things that we did to our 2021 Keystone Cougar 25 RDS. It's the Western Edition, does not have the windshield, which if we could have gotten the windshield we would have, but we live on the West Coast, so we got what was available. So just a quick rundown of what we did to our trailer and maybe a couple things that everyone should watch out for if they buy one. Starting at the front, we needed a place to put a generator, so we bought the this really neat generator tray. You can find it online, and I think it was about 200 bucks. Bolts up real nice to the frame, nice and strong, not too heavy. And you can't use a hard plastic propane tank cover when you run this, so you have to go with a soft cover, and I tried a couple, didn't like them, and I actually stole the cover off of our barbecue grill, and I throw that on there, and it's not the prettiest, but it gets us back and forth to the races. And the other thing I did up front here was I did not like the standard automotive battery. Only lasted about 2 hours, and we race motorcycles and attend BMX nationals, so we need to be in the pits for a long time, and they're generally pretty sunny. So I bought a commercial truck battery case and kind of redid some of the flooring in between the frames here, and I bought a lithium iron phosphate battery. It's 100 amp hour, and I was able to make it work with the stock positive and negative cables. They're not super long from Keystone, so I didn't really want to get around to replacing those, so I wanted to use what I had. And anyway, it took a little bit of work, but was able to get that lithium iron phosphate battery in there, and makes a huge difference in amount of time you can run this thing off the battery. So inside the driver's side cubby here is where some of the electronics are. It came stock with a Zamp little charge controller, and it did come with the I don't even know what the brand is, but I think it was a 2500 watt or 3000 watt inverter. And we upgraded some solar panels, so because I did that and I added the lithium iron phosphate battery, I needed a better solar charge controller. So I did some research, and they're certainly not cheap, but I ended up going with the Victron MPPT 150, and does the job very nicely, and keeps that battery fully charged. I did also add the Xantrex little mobile portable controller here, that panel that gives you information. So I'll get around to it and mount it somewhere, but for now I just let it sit right there. The other thing on the outside is Keystone only gives you one amber side marker light, and I like a little more lights down the side of the trailer, just so that nobody wants to dive into my lane not knowing that I'm pulling a trailer. So I just tapped into the existing wiring, and I ran another amber marker light right there, and then another one right in front of the slide. The other thing I did on the outside was I didn't really care for the stock graphics, so I used a whole bunch of automotive film. Most of it was 3M, and so every weekend for the first couple months, just played around. Never used auto vinyl wrap before, but on flat panels it's really pretty easy to do. So I kind of got a little carried away, and so there's lots of blacks and golds, and there's some flip-flop blues, some different pearls, some copper, some silver. So, and then I kind of framed in the windows in black, so the windows sort of disappear into the black graphic. So I kind of like it. It's a little wild, but we like real racy stuff for the racetrack. So we'll leave it for a while. And the good news is, if we don't like it down the road, we can just peel it right back off, and we're back to starting over. The other thing that I did, more running gear stuff, but since we're here, we'll talk about it. Didn't really care for the off-brand tires, so I wanted to get the Goodyear Endurance tires, and I thought I'd switch to black wheels instead of the sort of black machined that come from Keystone. So we upgraded the wheels and tires, and while we were doing that, I did a lot of reading about you know, what you can do for upgrades. And so while I was doing that, I ended up going to, I believe this is MoRide. So MoRide has a little bumper suspension system in between the two leaf springs, so I added that, and it came with or actually That did not come included in that package, but I bought upgraded shackles that are about twice as thick, which are these babies right there. Can't see them too well, but so they're wet bolts, meaning you can grease them, and now I have that suspension bumper in between with the American-made Goodyear Endurance tires. And then while I was at it, since I like modding all of my race bikes, that means I like modding my trailer. So I ended up, I bought 3 sets of, I believe these are also MORryde. They're X bracing. So these brackets connect to the point where the leaf springs attach to the frame, and it essentially just boxes in the leaf springs from one side of the frame to the other. So I have one in the front, one in the middle, and one in the back. So 3 different frame braces, and it's just sort of insurance, keeping all of the shackles and the hangers and everything from twisting or anything else if you did something weird off-road or something. But anyway, I really can feel the MORryde suspension. The rubber bumpers makes it tow a lot smoother. While we're here, I'm going to point this out. This is the gas line and a couple other wires that attach to the refrigerator, which is located on the slide. Didn't really think too much about it, but when I went and picked it up from the dealer for the first time, this hose that has to close in and out every time you move the slide, if it decides it wants to do something crazy, it will actually fold out away from the slide, and it'll pinch on the outside of the trailer here. I don't think it's enough to cut the tube, but it's really not right. So anyway, so I taped it and been playing around with this spring and some zip ties, and I watch it too. We make sure that when we close it, we make sure that gas line kind of folds up so that it goes underneath the trailer instead of poking out on the side. On the passenger side is where you really get an idea of how crazy we went with the graphics. I stripped most of the OEM stuff off, and saw a couple trailers out there that had black doors. They were actually black glass doors. It looked really cool, so I thought I'm gonna see if I can imitate that. So we blacked out the doors and we ran some graphics over the door, and it crisscrosses. And again, because we're in the race pits, I'm always trying to find our pits easily, and all these trailers, when they're stock, it's hard to tell one from the other. So we got a little crazy, but it's really neat. Some of these colors are chrome, some of them are a flip-flop pearl. So this one right here, you know, in one angle is kind of a cream, and then it'll flip to a sort of a metallic silver blue, and then some of the chrome blue and charcoals. And anyway, we had a lot of fun with it. May not be your style, but for racing, we like craziness. On the inside, I stole a couple of ideas from others on YouTube, and we actually just got back from a national, so we're still all full here. But you can go to any of the big box home improvement stores, and you can buy these sheets, 4x8 sheets of pink insulation, and it's just insulation foam boards. It's like 25 bucks, and they're very easy to work with. And normally you open this up and all you have is the aluminum frame here and just the bare wood, and just above that bare wood is the bed in the bedroom. So this wall is the floor of your bedroom, and this wall is the floor of the bed. So I wanted to take a little bit of the coolness. We noticed we had a little bit of cool, the cabinets were actually cool on the side of the walls, and so 25 bucks, and maybe 2 hours later, a razor knife will cut this out pretty easily, and it fit really nicely, and it goes all the way across to the other side. So this entire top is insulated, and this as well. So because it sits right underneath the master bed, it really makes it nice, and it doesn't get too cold at night. Not that it's super cold here in California, but again, always looking to kind of modify and make things better. The step here for the bedroom is adequate. It's a little flimsy, but we really do like that MORryde step for the primary door at the back, and I'll show that to you in a second. Here's another shot from the back on the driver's side. You can see how we got a little carried away on the vinyl wrap, but again, we tend to go wild. So anyway, lots of blacks and blues and golds on this side, and then the other side is other colors. On the back, even wilder still, I guess. Got some gold, copper, and some flip-flop, sort of this magenta brandy. You won't see it unless the sun hit it, but it kind of flip-flops and has some cool pearl hints to it. So here on the passenger rear, you get a little bit of hint of this sort of brandy is black when it's not in the sun, and then it kind of becomes this really nice pearl color, and then it goes over the doors. And it took a little while, but I think it turned out pretty good. It's actually my very first time I ever used automotive vinyl film. On the inside, we haven't done a whole lot of changes, although we did a couple key modifications, we thought. But the one thing really nice about the 25 RDS is the way this kitchen layout is. Most trailers in this size or even larger, where they place the TV, they end up giving you basically a bookshelf that goes from top to bottom, and it eliminates this entire counter space right here. And what Keystone did was obviously split the middle there, and so you got a window, and then the TV sits up here, and that really makes it feel like the kitchen is so much bigger, and it gives you the counter space that is always lacking in some of these smaller length trailers. So this was one of the key selling points. The other was gaining this big U dinette in back. Really makes it nice. The little booth, if you don't have like a full couch with a booth, it just seemed like there's not enough sitting area for the family, and we don't have a huge family, but the U dinette was a nice thing. Where it got strange was when I went to pick this thing up brand new, this table here is a loose table. It's not attached to anything. And so when I went to pick it up, I asked the dealer, how do I tow this thing with a dinette table that could slide all over the floor, maybe break the fireplace or something else? And they actually had no clue. Anyway, so what I ended up doing was I took this table out, put it in my Super Duty until I towed it home, which was about 8 hours from home. So when I got it home, what I figured out the easiest way to do it was I put an extra strip of wood in here. You can't really tell too much, but this is an additional piece of wood that does not come from Keystone that way. And I put some Velcro that was a taped Velcro, and it was really strong. So I ran the Velcro on the wood strip right here, and then I ran the opposite Velcro on the bottom of the table. So when I'm in the folded position, I actually can rest this table on these two wood strips on both sides here, and you can't even tell. And it was literally like $10 to do it. And so this thing, the feet are actually off the floor, and it just sits on these two rails with Velcro, and you can't get this to move. It'll never come out. I have to take the pads off and really put some effort into it to pull the table off the Velcro. So simple way to keep your table from flying all over the place and breaking things. Again, the refrigerator, you just got to watch those gas lines underneath the slide when you move it in and out. But otherwise, it's a nice location, works well for us. And moving into the bathroom here, didn't really do too much. We just added a shower curtain and a rod. And so you have that extra privacy of just pulling the shower curtain. And we really liked, it's very roomy for a 25-foot to have a bathroom that spans from the left side to the right side was really nice. Not a lot of trailers we found were like that. The bedroom, this is the Western edition, so you don't get the windshield, which kind of is a bummer because more light, in my mind is always better, but we get to stare at the fake wood, and that's fine. The nice thing about this Cougar was that it's a king-size bed standard. We were looking at a Jayco Eagle half-ton, and it was, gosh, probably easily $10,000 more. and but it was a queen size bed and had some other things that we didn't really care for. So overall, the Keystone checked off enough of the boxes that we're pretty happy with this one. And we've owned motorhomes, we've owned toy haulers, other trailers, and I'd have to say this is probably our favorite trailer so far, or favorite RV period. A couple little things we did just without going too crazy is I added another outlet down here that was a multi-port outlet. And you know, you got to be careful you don't plug in too many things, but this one gave you a couple extra plug-in points. I've seen videos and pictures of other 25 RDSs that have USB and 110 outlets in the wall in this corner and that corner, but this one did not have that. So we kind of made up for it again in adding another little four prong that we plug into the factory port up there, and we basically just charge phones on it, so we're really never overloading the system at all. And it does have a couple of these inverter ports here, so these plugins, and that's really nice. We can run quite a few things on here. Coffee maker, things like that pull a lot of juice. We'll have to run the generator, but for the most part, we can run quite a few things off of these inverter outlets. So overall on the inside, you know, high marks for the king size bed, the bathroom that has the double doors, and it doesn't bother us if somebody's using the bathroom when we're in the bedroom because we have the door shut. So it's really roomy, and the fact that we got the love seat here and the full Dinette gives us a whole lot of room, so we can have, you know, easily 6 people in here at the races, and you know, we don't feel like we're cramped. So lighting's good. It's all LED. AC works really great, and we really loved the off-white kind of white tones. It's pretty timeless. Anything that we see in the browns and the chocolate kind of colors instantly makes me feel like I'm in a 1970s rig, and I'm really surprised that the manufacturers are still building RVs that brand new. They look like they're, you know, 40, 50 years old. So we really do like the white. It really makes it kind of feel spacious, as this is actually the second smallest trailer we've ever had, and we've had 30 footers and 31s, and the 25 really is easy to tow, easy to get in and out of gas stations, things like that. It's easy to pull into the pits. So we really couldn't ask for anything more out of the RDS. While I'm here, I wanted to show this to you as well, because we couldn't find this online. This is what the back half of the trailer looks like with the slide all the way in. So we have, you know, full function of the kitchen and the love seat. You're not going to clear this bed against the cabinet, so the slide definitely has to be out. But with this dinette in the raised position, you can eat here, you can sit there, you have access to the refrigerator, microwave, everything you need. And so if you need to use the bathroom, you just have to go through the front door and to the bedroom door, and that's no problem. So the floor plan's nice. Sometimes the slides are in a way that if they're closed, you really cut off some of the function of trailers, whether it's the refrigerator door that won't open, or, you know, you're struggling to climb over things to get to the bathroom. So this floor plan, the way it is with the 2 doors, makes it pretty simple. You just got to know what you're after. You need to use the bathroom or the bedroom, and then you go to the front door, and the daily living quarter type stuff, you'll go through the rear door. Here's one more shot of the driver's side with the slide in. So the black wraps all the way around both sides, so it gives it a distinct look going down the road. Nobody will mistake this Cougar for somebody else's. Up top, this is where we really were pretty serious about our needs. We ended up upgrading to we ended up going with 2 different combinations. We have 2 ZAMP panels. I think they're 175 watts each, and then I believe these are Renogy panels in back, and I think these are 150s or 125s. We're somewhere around like 650 watts going to that solar charge controller and into the lithium iron phosphate, we can be at the track all day long and not be hurting for electricity. And if we need the AC, then we just turn on the generator. But otherwise, these panels will run everything that we need while we're at the track, so we really like it. So overall, I would have to say we're really pleased. We've had the trailer for, I guess, about 7-8 months now, and we've had it to a couple nationals, and we've been up to Tahoe and back, so we've had a chance to try it out even in some pretty cold weather and also some hot weather. And insulation's really good on this thing. Toe is really nice, especially with that the rubber enhanced suspension on there. The upgraded shackles and the frame brace are just more or less because it was available. And again, I like modding on my race bikes, and so trailer is not immune to that as well. I think for the price and what the competition is, I really don't think there's anything else better out there, even at $10,000-$20,000 more. I mean, we looked at Lance, we looked at Outdoor RV, the Jayco Eagles, all very nice. But I think overall, for what we got for the price, I really like it, and I think we'll have this until we move up to a Super C motorhome, of course. Then we're talking 250 grand. So that day might be a little ways off, but at one point we'll pull that off. And but for now, I think couldn't be happier. So anybody that is considering the Keystone Cougar, and particularly the 25 RDS, it's a great trailer. I have no regrets whatsoever. I would have paid $10,000 more, $20,000 more if there was something significantly better out there. But for everything that this has, the floor plan, the shortness of it, which makes it easy to tow, and the king size bed, all kind of just checked all of the boxes that we were looking for. So the graphics were just something a little fun extra. And so we go down the road, and we're unique, one of a kind, but it's still a Keystone Cougar. So I'd say do it.